And last on the channel, G.I.Joe Classified Series Sgt Slaughter on Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
Alright, figure fans, Way I Got It Figured, Sheriff back with another G.I.Joe Classified review. This time, Sgt Slaughter. I picked Sgt Slaughter up at Big Bad Toy Store. I just didn't want to wait for Hasbro Pulse. I thought he was going to get here in time so he could be in the video with Serpentor, but that didn't happen, and that's okay. You know, Sarge is certainly worthy of being in his own video. I do have like a little bit of a cold, so if I sound a little off, please, you know, I'm gonna do my best to keep the volume up and the energy up. All right, so Sgt Slaughter, a lot of cool images to go with them. Looks like a comic book image. This is more like, I feel like I've seen this before. Like they used to have like a little insert, and I think this comes from that. Sort of a photoreal drawing of Sarge with his action figure, cartoon Sarge, real world Sarge-ish, and of course the figure here. And his hat starts here, and of course on the side you got half of his face with his sunglasses. On the back, of course, you got his profile with all of his accessories and his symbols. And then on the side, of course, you've got his symbols again. He's got a 3 command, 3 hand-to-hand combat, 4 strength, and 3 classified. Sgt Slaughter's number 53 in the series. All right, we're gonna get him out, unbox him, check him out, you know, same thing we always do. Yo, Joe. All right, so we've got Sarge out with the new style packaging, where he's sort of restrained in there, like Snake Eyes was in Snake Eyes number 52. And of course he's got a little foot locker with all the stuff in it. I think it's a really nice touch what they've done with this, with the little baggie of G.I.Joe and Cobra labeled, you know, accessory containers. All right, so I'm gonna get them out and we're gonna look at everything. All right, so we've got Sgt Slaughter with all of his accessories. Right here, he comes with quite a few pieces of equipment and extra hands. So, you know, if you count them all up, it looks like he's hitting off with 9, 13, 14, 15 different accessories. So, you know, that's a pretty beefy purchase right there. So he's got his, of course, we're gonna start off with his whistle. Nice gold whistle. We'll go ahead and, well, looks like we gotta remove his head. All right, so his whistle's on there. His sunglasses. His drill instructor hat. So there you go. With that, that'll be the minimum of what I think you need to go over just Sgt Slaughter the figure, and I'll return to his accessories after that. He's using the Roadblock Gung-Ho size body, specifically the Roadblock, of course, because he's got the tank top, classic Sgt Slaughter tank top, and he's got his sort of own brand of boot here, and his articulation is, of course, the usual G.I.Joe classified articulation. So he's got a pretty deep arm crunch. And he's pretty posable. Waist, leg. Let's go back to about there. Not too shabby. Looks great. Looks the part. Looks like they decided to go with the Triple T version of Sgt Slaughter for the initial release, which is fine. You know, the mail away with the USA on it probably would be cool, but I'm not sure how they feel about doing explicitly nationalistic things like at all. You know, nobody has like an American flag on them or anything in the G.I.Joe classified line. So while I wouldn't personally mind that, I'm not sure if the company is, you know, into that right now. But you do get a pretty solid, pretty excellent rendition and likeness of Sgt Slaughter. All right. Then we're going to go over his actual accessories, the ones separate from what I think makes the minimum a Sgt Slaughter. So, of course, he's got his swagger stick, the one accessory that he came with the most. And you can, of course, move his hands. Place it with a gripping hand. Sarge can hold his swagger stick in a classic pose. I mean, that's Sgt Slaughter right there, right? What else do you need? Then you have his action figure on the card. And the card, of course, does slide out so that you can release the figure. For the purposes of this video, I know everybody's done it. They put it in his hand. You can have him hold the figure in his hand here with the gripping hand, but I'm not going to do that. But he does come out. The card slides out of the back, and the figure, you know, is just sort of in there. It comes out, so that's kind of cool. I don't need the meta interpretation. He got his grappling hands, pointing hands. In fact, the only thing I would say is missing is that, you know, he doesn't have a saluting hand. I think that might have really been a complete package then. And then last and perhaps least, we have his assault rifle. And if I have any issue with the figure at all, it is the assault rifle. So he comes with the same assault rifle that the Cobra officer comes with, which is a AK style Warsaw packed weapon. It doesn't make much sense for Sgt Slaughter. But, you know, what I've sort of decided to justify it as is he acquired this weapon OSP, which means on-site procurement. You know, basically he was at a Cobra base and beat up a Cobra and took his weapon. And I don't know if it's just from lack of research or lack of caring or what. I don't know why they decided to do that. But it's nice, you know. It's a nice weapon. There's nothing wrong with the weapon. I just think it's a poor choice for Sgt Slaughter. It just doesn't make any sense. You could have put the weapon that comes with the Crimson Guard. The Crimson Guardsman actually has a NATO weapon. I mean, I guess they could have went to a gun store and got an AR-15 style rifle or M5 or whatever you want to call it. But that's what they decided to do. I don't know if it's, again, a lack of research or caring or what. I don't know. But yeah, they got some guys coming with some inappropriate weapons in my book. All right. Next we will show Sgt Slaughter with some other Joes just for comparison's sake. Alright, so we're going to bring in Sarge, body mates, Roadblock, and Gung-Ho. Of course, I could have just brought in one, and that would have been sufficient, but I feel like Gung-Ho's the other Marine that's currently available, so, you know, wanted him to be there. And Roadblock, he has the most in common with Roadblock. Of course, his pant legs are different. This is the same sort of crotchial region, but the legs are different. The arms are the same down to the gloves, and of course they got different heads. But there's the big guys all together. All right, here's Sgt Slaughter with his one-time sparring partner Serpentor, according to the cartoon. And Serpentor is, you know, massive. He actually towers over Sgt Slaughter and all the other G.I. Joes in the line. He's the biggest figure, but even though Sarge is lean and mean and a little bit smaller than Serpentor, you know, he's Sarge, so he can hang. All right, one more comparison. Here's Sarge with two more normal-sized Joes. So of course, you know, he's a big dude. And while I wouldn't call Flint and Spirit puny, they're not in the size category of Sgt Slaughter. So there you go. Sgt Slaughter compared 3 different dimensions. All right, the final word. Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Series Sgt Slaughter. The way I got it figured, I'm gonna give a 9 out of 10 rating for this figure. He is, you know, He's the 6-inch version of the classic figure. While there's some parts reuse because, well, G.I. Joe Classified line is a line that's gonna always have parts reuse. There's gonna be very few, one-shot original figures. I don't really, I penalize G.I. Joe Classified less for that. It only makes sense to make these figures in a modular fashion. I'm not gonna give them a 10, only because I'm really gonna knock them for two things. One, I just hate the choice of this particular weapon. And two, in all the hands that they gave us, the one hand they didn't give us is a saluting hand. I don't think that's too nationalistic to have Sgt Slaughter saluting. That's a pretty standard pose, especially with his swagger stick. But that's kind of how I like him, how I think of him, with the accessories that he came with back in the day, which was a swagger stick and the opposable removable hat. The 1988 version had a removable hat for the Warthog with no swagger stick. So you're kind of getting the best of both worlds there. But yeah, 9 out of 10. I'm very pleased to have him. And he'll take his place amongst the Joes in my collection. All right, if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I read all comments. I respond to all comments. I think it's a pact that you have between you and your viewers. Still some G.I. Joe Classified left this year. As I record this, it's December 8th, so off the top of my head, I can think of three more G.I. Joe Classified reviews yet to go. I'm gonna switch off from Classified for a minute. I've got some Marvel Legends to do next. But I'll be back to G.I. Joe Classified in the next 2 to 3 reviews. All right, guys, everybody stay safe out there, and I will see you on the next video. Peace.